Yes, good morning. This is Tuesday morning, November 7th, 2001. We're at Vincent Corporation in Tampa, Florida. We're going to run some Stevia leaves. These came from Gay and Robinson. The project's being run for Gordon Francis. We're going to try running the leaves in a little 4-inch press right here. It is hooked up with a VFD. Give us a little more latitude if we don't, as long as we don't run out of horsepower. There's the motor, the gearbox. The screw is connected to the gearbox, and here's a screw inside of here. This is the inlet hopper where we'll put the leaves in. The screen is made out of profile bars. Those gaps you're looking at are about half a millimeter, 20 thousandths of an inch. I'm not sure what was pressed in this machine previously, but it's solidified like resin, so strange material. This brass cone is pushed in to create back pressure. Here's another press, and you can see where this cone along. This one's pressed in with a spring pressing in the cone. The one that we're at right here, the brass cone is pushed in by a lever arm. And so you'll see me hang a weight on the end of here to create more back pressure, to squeeze more juice through the screen to obtain higher yield as we go on. I'm going to start with some running some cottonseed hulls dry, no moisture added, just dry cottonseed hulls through this press to see if I can get out this plastic resin or whatever that we have stuck in the end. Okay, here you can see some of the action of feeding the cottonseed hulls, and we're getting a plug of strange stuff coming out. My amps are up to 6.3, 6.5. This cone's open as far as it can. I'm going to stop and chip this away with a hammer. It's feeding out normally now. This material here was chitin, what's left of shrimp shells after you take out the calcium and protein. Boy, did it get hard. Yeah, it took quite a chisel to knock it out. Okay, here's the Stevia leaves, hunting for stems. Something over there. I described something as looking like hog hair bristle. I really don't see that now. But anyway, we figured we would take 3 pounds out of one of our containers and mix it with 30 pounds of water. 30 pounds of water being 3-4 gallons in this pail. Trouble is, this is 1 pound of Stevia so far, so we've got to cram 3 more pounds in there, compact it down before we add the water. We can do that. Best way to do it, of course, would be to run the material through a shredder first and break it into smaller leaves. We've got a shredder over here. I saw one this morning. Yeah, we've got a little shredder right here. 3 pounds. We've got 3 pounds of Stevia leaves in a 55-gallon drum. Now we'll add water till we have 33 pounds. It shouldn't take the whole bucket. Okay, we poured 30 pounds of water in there, and now we'll try see if we can stir this. So we've got a mixer in here, and just a small, about a 2-inch blade diameter, maybe 3-inch diameter blade on this at the most. But next batch we'll try shredding it first. We've got a handy shredder we can use. we're using. And this is what the mixed stuff looked like. We still have some long stems here. And it'll press out okay. Okay, I wouldn't have believed it, but our 30 pounds of water, that is 3 gallons, has taken all the... Don't put it in there yet. I want to get the bricks reading first. Anyway, it definitely filled a 5-gallon pail and a good part of another one. We've gotten samples, and we'll get samples of the press cake. So here's the initial material going in. A little bit of cottonseed hulls left there, and eventually we'll get some stevia out at this end. Yeah, we're not pulling the stems out. I think when we shred this stuff, we'll get rid of them. So we're starting to feed the material in. This is just some residue from the initial batch that we put in. Been sitting here a long time. Juice coming out black. We'll see if that holds. That might be some cottonseed hulls or something like that. I expected a green juice. We tested the bricks, got about 3 degrees bricks on a refractometer. I don't know what that means because, okay, now we're getting a little more juice coming out. We have put a medium weight on the end here. We don't have enough to open the cone yet. But this is the, yeah, we're squeezing out the water we had added. Feeding pretty well. I don't see any real co-rotation. Doesn't seem to be pinching at the B plate. There's a part called a stripper that would prevent it from pinching there, and that's missing, so this will be a real test. We're getting juice out from one end of the screen to the other. Check the other side. This, since it only has resistor tooth on one side, it's sometimes a little different between one side and the other. Cone is starting to open, and I see cottonseed hulls, which may have been that brown coloration in the original liquid. And the liquids turned a more greenish shade at this point. And we're slugging in the material. Thick or thin concentration like that really won't change the nature of the press cake that we get out at this end. Yeah, go ahead and Michael, and feed that whole barrel or drum. This is, at least we'll get our machine filled up. Let's see, what are the amps reading over there? 5.9 to 6. The motor's rated at 674. And this cake that's coming out, if I get, well, it's hard, and if I squeeze it, wow, my hand's not damp. I'm not getting a drop of liquid out. So that's pretty good, considering we just have that weight slip down from up there as the cone went open. You see some suspended solids coming out in the liquid here. This material tastes like Argentine yerba mate, the national drink of Argentina. They drink it, they always add tons of sugar to it because it is not naturally as sweet, nearly as sweet as this material, but it has some of the same taste. 6.0. I've forgotten the hertz I'm running here. I think you see it coming out fairly slowly. Material still feeding. Okay, that brown color is a natural color. And when we do that, we get a lot more liquid separation, but the cake still comes out same dryness. If I take a sample now, this is what I'm looking at. You see some of the stems are broken up, and this is very dry material. Well, we'll take a sample. It's not that dry. Certainly seen drier, but we can't get much more liquid out of this than is coming out already. Yeah, healthy stream of liquid. Getting our 30 pounds of water back. And there's the action in the inlet hopper. Could probably speed this up to get more capacity. Wouldn't get a lot more capacity. Double the speed, we might get 20% more capacity. Reason I'm thinking along those lines, I see a lot of liquid here, not nearly as much here. We're getting it pretty dry. I didn't feel any more liquid coming out when I squeeze it with my hand. Another indicator that I could speed up the press, get more capacity without having the moisture, without losing yield. Here's you the material that we put into the press, a little gob of it, and here's the cake that came out. So that's what we did inside the screw press. The material that, well, how many? 31 pounds. Net or gross? Gross. Okay, subtract 2 pounds for the pail. 29 pounds. We added 30 pounds of water and we got 29 pounds out. Probably have some suspended solids from the leaves in that liquid contributing to the weight. Must be. Even though this screen is 20 thousandths. Here's our cake. We've got samples for moisture analysis. And anyway, we'll probably rehydrate this and try pressing it again, see what happens. Okay, this is our cake from our first test. We were going to stick a mixer in there, but this doesn't hardly need mixing. We just took 30 pounds of water and added our press cake in. Had about 5 pounds of press cake to add. Our 3 original pounds of solids plus a couple of pounds of water that weren't squeezed out, that got absorbed in. But we'll try pressing this again. About all we can do is we'll compare the color of what comes out with the second time on the second pressing. And we'll run moisture test also. Oops. Oh, gotta get a bucket to catch it. Can't use that one. I'd like to use a different color. Okay. Anyway, we're going to lose some of our liquid here. Anyway, now we're pouring in this material. This is the second pressing of the cake. You can see how mushed up it is from the first pressing. There's quite a bit in here. We'll see if it blinds the screen or anything. Press liquor pouring out. Looks clear to me. We'll see when we get it in a cone. And nothing coming out the discharge yet, Michael. Okay, starting to come out. Getting a sample in an Imhoff cone. Boy, they're all so dark it's hard to tell. Anyway, we'll get them side by side in a minute. No, this is feeding down. That is, I thought I was watching to see if it was bridge, but it's going down somewhat. Cake is starting to come out. I did start up with a full load of heavy weights. Generally, you start out with a lower weight, get the machine flowing, and then add the weight on. Anyway, second time through, this is what the cake looks like. It feels different. It's still got moisture to it. We might gain a little bit by adding more weight here. I doubt it. One phenomenon you see here, most of the liquid is coming out at the inlet end, nothing much here in the middle, and finally at the final stage of compression, some last juice being squeezed out. So it's squeezing out the easy juice. The juice is coming out easily, or higher freeness, to use a paper mill term, and then just work the heck out of the material as it goes down closer to the discharge. A little bit of bridging there, but no, it's feeding pretty well. Okay, we've hooked up this shredder. We were going to use this other angle shredder right here, but it had an awfully coarse screen in it, and it was short of an electrical cord. This one, here's the rotor, thin blades. I'll see if I can zero in on a thin blade down here. I haven't seen one yet that I can point out. Clear? I'm going to put my hand in. Okay, there's some of the blades right there. That's what the blade. In the background, you can see the perf screen we're going to be using. Okay. Yeah, we're going to... don't get the plastic bag in there, whatever you do. You can see the stuff coming out. Something dry like this shreds real well. Oops, spilled some. No, you can't see anything in the inlet hopper. Anyway, shredding operation, dusty. Material's coming out well. Well, let's see what we got here. Boy, that chopped it up. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see what it does. Okay, this is 3 pounds, and we're going to add 30 pounds of water to this, and see if we can blend it. So that's what it looks like after it's gone through the shredder. Okay, here's our 30 pounds of water. I think we'll just blend this 50-50, make a 2-pail sample out of all this. Okay, working with this shredded material, boy, there was no need for the mixer at all, just a moment shake by hand, and the water mixes very well. You don't get dry balls. Say you were trying to get cottonseed hulls wet, you'd have dry balls of cottonseed hulls that you have to shake around before you get them all wet. Well, this stuff wets out instantaneously. It doesn't form any dry balls. So a light shake with our hands and we had it. Okay, we just dumped the first couple of gallons in. I'm running with the cone out to start out with. Once I see a bit of cake feeding out, liquid coming out, same brown color. Got an interesting phenomena there. The initial comes out brown and the second comes out green. Okay, this is feeding enough now that I can put a weight on here. And I'll immediately hang on a second weight. and scoop the cake that was in coming out so far out of the way. And seems to be doing okay. Cake coming out about the same. Press liquor squeezing out. Coming out more on this other side? No. Go ahead and throw in the next bucket. Okay. Liquid coming out. Boy, it's rushing through the lower side of the stream. Cake coming out here a lot slower than before. I have to compare this to the earlier video, but it doesn't seem that much dirtier to me. We are squeezing this very hard. Now, the cake that's been coming out is like this. And if I squeeze it, and it's damp. And that may have been from other stuff on my hand. Here's a plump cake. And if I squeeze this, that's how it behaves. I'd say it's probably feeding through at the same speed as the other stuff fed through. Maybe faster. Getting a lot of liquid out, getting back our 30 pounds. Cake's coming out normally. Looking good. Okay, this is a little tricky. We've got 1 liter sample, 1,000 milliliters. It's settled out. This dark brown material is the press liquor from the first pressing, the very original part of this video. And what's settled out at this point is 7.5 milliliters out of 1,000 liters. In comparison, we've got the liquor from the second, and you can see it's a greener color, definitely a different color. And the layer down here, where was it, a 10? Yeah. Is about, it was higher than 10. Now I can't see it. Thought I had a reading higher than 10. But anyway, about 10 milliliters out of 1,000 liters. But the amazing thing is the difference in color. First is the, I got to get these right. Which? Yep, I've got the first in my hand here, a darker, it was a blacker color. It seems browner now, but black or brown compared to a olive green on the second. Okay, this is the next day, the 7th of November 2001. This comes from the second and first and second pressing of the second sample. This was the material that we ground in the shredder before pressing. Settled out salads don't look that much difference. We do have a remarkable difference between first and second. Not sure how much this shows up on the screen. Here I've got a layer of solids below this point. I doubt if it shows, but that's at 20 milliliters out of 1,000. And here it's at 25, and there's a layer of stuff. Anyway, there's a layer of stuff right here that is also settled out. Nothing floating on the top. Okay, as I pour this out, maybe I see a difference. And so there's the one sample. And I'm getting down there. Oops, there comes the solids. And the sludge did stay in the bottom here. I'm reading 30. And so this is the sort of stuff that settles out of this one. I'm carefully not telling you which is first pressing and which is second pressing. Just there is a difference. I don't know which one with any enough confidence to say. Here comes the second sample. I think you'll see it's a lot lighter, clarified a lot more, and the solids coming out of it are different. I see different green here, and I'm down to 10, but I've poured some out, so all I'm illustrating is that you do get a difference between first and second pressing. There's suspended solids that are going to have to be dealt with both procedures, first and second pressing. It's not like one is clean and the other is dirty, but they are different. What we're doing here is that we have an oven. We've cooked the samples of press cake overnight. Here's one with all those big stems in there. That must have been from the first batch of stuff. Here's one broken up stuff. That must be from the second batch. What we're looking at is either press cake or the material we're feeding in the press. Like here's one that was fed into the press probably in the first go around. You can tell the difference between press cake and the other. We put it on a digital balance. These were the raw leaves. We also took one sample here. It's way back here. Those were the shredded leaves. We'll get a much better idea of moisture content from them because we could really load them onto the tray so that the weight of the plate becomes truly negligible. And anyway, a